Oh, Mr. Donn Davis, how are you doing, sir?
Great to see you again.
Yes, great to see you. It's been a while. How's the off season treated you?
Great. Last time we were together was the PFL Championship.
Yeah, I know. It feels like forever ago, right?
It does. We've done a lot of big moves since then. We launched the PFL Challenger Series. We've upgraded our roster. We did a new ESPN TV deal. So we've been active. We've been active.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Very exciting stuff. And I mean, it's typically, just to start things off here. I mean, what is like the off season like for you? I mean, I'm sure things are always busy, but just what does it kind of look like on a day-to-day basis?
Look, it's very active because really there's three components to it. If I kind of break down the work into three buckets, one, we work on our media distribution. So how do we get the PFL to more fans with better distribution, broader distribution? So under that headline, look, we renewed our deal with ESPN and we moved from mostly Thursday to mostly Friday, and we moved to ESPN main channel from ESPN2. So in the United States now, we have the broadest and best distribution. And then also around the world, we're now in 160 countries with 32 media partners. And a lot of those are real upgrades. Like in the UK, Channel 4. So we're now available to 95% of the homes on free TV in the UK or in Latin America with DirecTV. So call it that first bucket of stuff that we work on is how do we get the PFL around the world on streaming, on linear broadcast to more fans with better outlets? Then the second bucket of stuff is the roster, the athletes. Unlike a lot of other MMA companies, we upgrade 50% of the roster every year. We keep our stars, we keep our champions, and we keep, call it, exciting, promising new fighters. But half of them, we let go. Mm-hmm. And so we scour the world during the year to bring in half new talent. So that's kind of the second bucket of stuff. And you've seen a lot of our announcements, but more to come, right? And that even included signing our own, number one world star Kayla, and even bringing in some new stuff. And then bucket number three is the business. We continue to grow and we continue to innovate. So some of that is launching new products like the PFL Challenger Series. Some of that is bringing in new sponsors. Some of that is creating new technology like kick speed this year, which you'll be able to bet on. Never been done before. So those are the three things we do in the off season. But for us, we're always working. We love what we do. So the off season is just a different kind of work, and actually it gives us more time to work, in terms of day-to-day stuff. Because during the season, a lot of what you're putting on is the product. And in the off season, you're really all your day and all your time and all your energy is against, how do you enhance the product? Right. How do you expand the product? How do you innovate the product during the off season?
Yeah, I mean, geez, with all that stuff going on, Don, do you ever get a vacation, man? Come on.
Oh, man, vacation is work. Vacation is work. Yeah.
For sure.
I'm cool, man. I don't vacation.
Who needs it, right? Overrated.
Exactly.
You mentioned the new things there, and obviously the one we're wrapping up is the Challenger Series, which been really cool to watch, unfold before our eyes ahead of this upcoming season. Just what has it been like from your perspective, and has it met kind of the expectations? Are you satisfied with how it's all played out?
Yeah, look, it exceeded our expectations on several levels. First of all, talent. We had 600 fighters that we looked at for 60 slots. We took one of every 10 fighters that applied for the Challenger. And this is our first year. Mm-hmm. So we expect close to 1,000 people to want to get in next year, 1,000 fighters from around the world. And that covered 20 countries. So that was a global recruiting process. Look, we had champions from 5 regional promotions fight this year. These are champions from the best regional promotions in the world. So this was, call it, for a first-time Challenger Series, unheard of talent. Mm-hmm. So to me, that was the first thing that exceeded expectations. Like, we said we're going to sign one fighter a night. Look, we've signed more developmental contracts than that because we were blown away, by the quality of the fighters. So that was the first thing. The second thing is how interesting the show was. And to me, obviously all props to, the UFC Contender Series, but, I think that show's a little tired. It's version 1.0.
Yeah.
And for 1.0 show, good show. And our show is really kind of a 2.0 version of that in many ways. And to me, the most interesting way is our fans have a say. The fans get a real vote. Number two, we bring in other voices, NFL Super Bowl champions, Olympic champions, major entertainment stars. So what does it take to be a champion, or what does it take to create stardom? We got more than just one voice and more than one MMA voice. So I think that's an interesting dynamic to the show. So to me, the show has been interesting to watch, compelling to watch, differentiated to watch. So to me, that's the second component that has been exceeded our expectations in just year one.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue, especially you make that comparison, which many people have to the Contender Series. It feels like at this point, after they've done it so much, like everyone just kind of gets in. So that's it feels more special with, something like the Challenger Series where, like you said, everything around it. But then it's not just like, all right, you win and you're in, which that's nice for the fighters, of course, but it's more of a challenge, right? That's in the name.
It's in the name. And look, and to be blunt about this, if you get a contract from the UFC, you go to the end of the line. You're one of 600 fighters, and we may never see you again. If you get a contract in the PFL Challenger Series, you're in the season this year.
Right.
You can go from an unknown to a champion in the same year. Now, your odds are long, but there's nothing stopping you. You could be a real world Rocky. That doesn't happen in the UFC. Your odds of getting a title fight, that ain't happening. We didn't see that happen, right? This year, in the next 10 years. So to me, the meritocracy, the opportunity, as a fan, forget as an owner of the PFL, as a fan, I love a real world Rocky story. And look, we had one last year, Roush Mafino. He was 1,000 to 1 on the DraftKings Sportsbook. 1,000 to 1, and he wins.
He was going to retire.
Yeah. So look, we can see that again. Somebody who got a challenger contract on one of these 8 weeks in Fubo, they're coming into the season. They win 4 times, they get $1 million, and they're going to be the PFL champ. So to me, that's the big differentiator between the two shows is you go to the front of the line or you go to the end of the line.
Right. Yeah, really earning it, and that opportunity has been there ever since the PFL started. But yeah, you really, enhance it with this, so it's very cool to see, man. But also, we got to talk about what else has been going on in the offseason, which I'm sure you know where I'm going. But the big story of free agency was the Kayla Harrison saga. And I mean, you were very confident. I remember when we were last talking at the championship that she would come back, and kind of just felt that way. That was the vibe throughout everything. But for you, and as it was playing out, man, like how important was it to keep Kayla? I mean, obviously her whole career's been in the PFL minus one fight, but a big part of the brand.
Yeah, look, it was very important. Just like the PFL is transparent, I'm very transparent. A lot of other promotions say, we don't care about these fighters or we put down fighters. That's not my style. We love Kayla, and Kayla is very important to us. And we worked very hard to bring her back. And I think the key to bringing her back was understanding her goals and being able to put together a deal that met her goals as well as the PFL goals. And I think what I'm particularly proud of, and I think our entire team is proud of, is when we say PFL is a fighter first league, that's not just a slogan. What does that mean? And I think she wanted to be able to, over time, fight the best in the world. And we said, we'll cross promote with anybody. There's only 3 great fighters right now. UFC's got one of them. I mean, in her weight class, Amanda.
Right.
Bellator's got one of them in her weight class, Cyborg, and Kayla's one of them. So among, call it, her available 145 to 155 weight class in there, there's 3. That's it in the world. And if you go beyond that and call it who's ranked 5 to 10, we got more than anybody else. Panchenko, Julia Budd. I mean, those are going to be tougher tests for her than some of the others in her weight class. So I think what Kayla liked is, hey, I got a tough test this year, 2022 season in PFL. And then the PFL is going to be the most flexible, the most supportive, and the most innovative in trying to put these other fights together.
Yeah, certainly, man. And that's a very exciting thought for, again, the fans and everybody to watch that play out. And, I've been following you on Twitter, man, and you seem very confident about Cyborg coming over after her deal is done. I mean, it'd be cool if you could do that cross promotion while she's still with Bellator, but, it seems like she's going to have to figure some things out herself in the summertime, I think. So why so confident that you can bring Cyborg over?
Well, I'm not as confident about other people's decisions because I respect there's a lot of different things that go into, what Drake decides, what Donn Davis decides, what Cris decides. Everybody, has their own objectives, and their own needs. What I am confident about is that fight happening. And that fight can happen two ways. Cris comes to PFL, or there's a cross promotion between PFL and Bellator. So to me, my confidence extends to that fight happening, right? Because from the PFL side, we'll do that fight any which way. Pluto, Earth. Pay-per-view, streaming. Cross-promotion, not. We will do that fight because fans want it. Kayla wants it. Industry experts want it. So why not do it? So we'll do it. And Kayla, she feels the exact same. So the only reason it won't happen is because the people saying the most bluster about it, which has been Bellator and Cyborg, get scared and won't do it. So to me, that's why I'm confident, because I do think that Cyborg wants to cement her legacy as the greatest of the great. And there's only one test left. One. And I also think she'd like to be a 5-organization champion.
A belt collector, yeah.
So to me, does it happen here? Does it happen as a cross promotion? It'll happen one way or the other because I think the fighters want it and the fans want it. And from my perspective, we're going to be the most flexible to make that happen.
Yeah, I know it's getting to that point where it feels like it is one that we just need to see one way or another. So it feels like things, hopefully could trend in that direction. But it is interesting, though, too, Don. You mentioned kind of the Bellator side of things. And, we've seen that dismissiveness, I guess, from Scott Coker, which we know he knows who you are, right, man? I'm sure you've maybe talked before, at least on one occasion, something. But do you think that's like a fear thing of the PFL kind of creeping up on them and them worried about their spot? Like, why do you think those reactions are coming from their side?
I don't know. Look, as I learned from my 92-year-old dad, who I still talk to every day, every business is easy until it's yours, right? So I focus on making the PFL as great as it can be for fans and fighters and stakeholders every day. But I do think, look, PFL is the number 2 MMA company by every single metric. Fighter roster, distribution, audience per event, every quantifiable measure, PFL blew past Bellator, and Bellator has been relegated. The only people that still regard Bellator are those who watched MMA for 10 or 15 years and still have a historical view of when Bellator was number 2. So I think they're probably a little prickly about that, but I think from our perspective, we respect everybody. We want to do business with everybody, and our focus is only on 2 groups of people, the fans and the fighters. And from the PFL perspective, we think different. We're disruptive here. We want to focus on fans and fighters, and if we give fans and fighters what they want and what they deserve, everybody wins.
Yeah, definitely, man. And it's funny, just, to wrap up with that topic. It's like we've seen them do that with like Rise and other promotions, so they know. So hopefully we can get it all together. Everyone playing along nicely is always good, especially for the fans and fighters, like you mentioned. But for the fighters specifically, and I guess also the fans, I mean, the Superfight, the pay-per-view type series, right? I don't know exactly what it's being called, but is that going to be, as I saw on the lineup, the championship will be a pay-per-view event this year, right? And this is this new implementation that you guys are doing. How many are we kind of going to be able to expect going forward, and just kind of break it down, this concept to me, because it's very new and I think we're still kind of learning about it.
Yeah, Drake, look, I haven't talked to anybody about this yet. You're the first, and we'll be given more details in the future. But obviously core to the PFL is the league. Mm-hmm. And the league will continue to be all the events other than the championship on free TV around the world. That's our main focus. We strongly believe in that. We'll continue to have premium, free, broad distribution. And the league remains our flagship product. But in addition, as you noticed, we announced a new division called PFL Pay-Per-View Superfights. Because there are certain great fighters that are past wanting to fight 4 times. They're also only economically served by fighting in pay-per-view. So we wanted to create a new division for these fighters, and obviously for the fans who want to see these fighters. And we'll put on 4 fights a year, 1 per quarter, starting in 2023. These will have the biggest fights, just like UFC has the biggest fights on pay-per-view, and they'll serve the fighters who economically fight on pay-per-view. And it will be outside of the league season, not part of the league season. So they're one-off events. This is essential because there are fighters ranked in the top 5 of the world, or they're fighters who are extremely entertaining that don't want to be part of the 4-fight league format. And they want to be part of the PFL. And so we'll be actively recruiting over this year, and we'll launch that in the first quarter of 2023, the pay-per-view Superfight division.
All right, very cool. And so with that in mind, no ideas yet what we might see on that card.
Well, I think what we did announce is this will be the last year for Kayla in the league. 2022 is her last year, and she will move to the Superfight division in 2023. And she's under contract next year, the full year of 2023 also. And so she is technically our first pay-per-view Superfight fighter. And that starts in 2023, but we'll be signing up others.
All right, perfect, man. So I got to just be real with you, Donn, because I always like to keep it real. You know, there's always going to be criticism, right, in anything you're doing. So I got to bring it up to you because there are some people out there who will say, is PFL ready to do like a pay-per-view series at all? Like, I'm just curious of your responses to criticisms that you might get like that.
Yeah. Next year will be our 5th year of operation. So we didn't move into this too quickly. Number 2, we're not going to move into this too big. As I said, the league stays as our core product. And number 3, in order to put on pay-per-view, you need a host of capabilities: distribution, promotion, the ability to produce, the ability to market. Everything that we already do, and we do really well with the league. So the only differentiator for us is 2 co-headline fights. That's it. There's nothing else. No secret sauce, no black box, no mystery formula other than that. And there are many fighters out there that wish they had a bigger share of their economics. Well, PFL is open for business to provide them a bigger share of their economics. Who promoted Hagler Hearns? I don't remember. Who promoted Holyfield Tyson? I don't remember. So PFL already has the expertise, the infrastructure, the brand, and the partners to do pay-per-view today successfully. And so what we'll be doing is in a very select, very bespoke, once a quarter, putting on super fights. This is not becoming a big part of our company, but a very focused part of our company. And we're more than ready to do that. And there's fighters desperate to have a bigger share of their economics. And we're confident these fights will be highly anticipated, highly successful, and with our distribution partners, economically successful also.
Yeah, definitely sounds like a very smart approach to it, man, because, you know, some people, they get excited about the new thing, right? And they jump in too much, but to keep the focus on, obviously, the tournament format and the regular season is what, you know, everyone knows the PFL for. So it sounds like you got it going on and you know better than I do. So that's just my take on it. But
no, look, it's a great question. And I think too many people, you know, look, obviously a company like Triller went all pay-per-view on all events, all quickly. And everybody sees pay-per-view as a fix-all, solve-all because of the money. We've invested heavily. It's quite public that PFL has raised $200 million in the history of our company. We've invested heavily in our product, in our business model, in our infrastructure, in our team, and our fighters. We've done that correctly, methodically, in order to deliver the product the right way. We won't deviate from that. It's the right time, and we'll do it in the right way.
Absolutely, Donn. So, all right, we can wrap up with two more things, man. Appreciate you taking the time so much.
I always great to talk to you.
Yeah.
Look, you're always welcome to ask whatever you want.
All right. I love it, man. So it's funny, like, I think throughout the PFL's, just history so far, you notice there's this blend of fighters from all around the world. We were talking about at the beginning here even, but I kind of highlighted it to me during the Challenger Series, because even in the Challenger Series, people from all around the world, I'm looking at the women's lightweights in particular, people from, the Czech Republic, Martina Jindrova, who won and got in, and just you name it. There's people from everywhere. So it made me just think, like,
last week we had your first ever from Israel.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, like, it highlights to me how just many locations that you could potentially tap into location-wise. And obviously PFL, United States based, of course, so not going to, like, move permanently or anything. But is there a plan to, like, go international at some point, maybe spread around the globe a little bit more for events?
Yeah, look, it's a great question. In terms of taking events outside the U.S., obviously we broadcast to 150 countries. We have fighters from 25 countries, but taking events outside the United States, we will, and stay tuned. I think we're planning something that you will particularly like, and hopefully we'll be able to make announcements soon. We want to take the show to fans. We all know 80% of the MMA fans worldwide are not in the United States. Only 20% are in the United States. We're all a made-for-TV product. That's what PFL is all about. So we're already accomplished the most important objective, is taking the TV product to fans. But how do we take the live product to the fans in a select way? And also, how do we emanate the TV product from interesting geographies? Perhaps even more important, stay tuned.
Ooh, all right. Getting me excited there. So definitely we'll be waiting for that. But we don't have to wait too much longer, Donn, for the upcoming season, as we announced the first fights for the first card this morning, right? So the lightweights and the light heavyweights, that's some exciting ones there. Jeremy Stephens making his debut. I think fans will be really excited about that. Anthony Pettis is back. Hausch, of course, who won, and Antonio, the champs from last season. Just let's get hyped a little bit about the kickoff of the regular season, man, right? What are you most looking forward to as we get rolling with the first event on April 20th?
Yeah, April 20th. Look, I think a lot of fight fans will have their favorite in terms of matchup or fighter or story or journey, right? Could it be the comeback or redemption of Anthony Pettis? Could it be the champions defending? Could it be Stephens from another promotion? What will he do? Could it be a relatively unknown making his way? But to me, what's great about the PFL is all those stories exist, because it's a meritocracy. It's not a manufactured path. If you were answering that question in the UFC, it would be a person deciding the matchups. Why? The PFL is like March Madness. The serendipity of what will happen. What will happen? If the UFC controlled March Madness, Kentucky won't even play St. Peter's. They won't allow that to happen. Why? They can't afford to have their Kentucky fighter get beat by their St. Peter's fighter. That's not the PFL. So to me, why fans should tune in, and why we're already 33% of UFC's audience, that was our metrics last year. Why are fans increasingly tuning in? Because it is MMA meets March Madness. Anything can happen. The best fighter wins. And will it be the champ? Will it be an unknown? Will it be an underdog that shocks all of us? Will it be a redemption story? Will it be a fan favorite? Will it be a villain? I don't control any of it, because it's a sport and it's a meritocracy. And to me, that's what's to love about the PFL season.
Couldn't have said it better, man. And very excited. I'll be there for it. So great way to kick off the regular season in Texas. Going big, right, for the 2022 season.
Going big.
As they
going
do.
Big.
So,
and look, and you have been a big, not just proponent, a big explainer of the PFL. And I appreciate that. I think for your fans, I think, as we always say, UFC is a fantastic product. All props to them. And PFL is a complementary, different product. And I think you've done a great job at taking it to the fans and saying, enjoy both of these. And so I appreciate you for that. And we just tell fans, April 20th, ESPN main channel, ESPN Plus, 2 ways to enjoy. Just like the biggest sports properties now on ESPN, you can both linear broadcast and streaming, full simulcast this year of the PFL. So you can enjoy all events all season long on both ESPN Main and ESPN Plus.
Yes, indeed. Very exciting stuff, Don. I appreciate the compliments, man. You know, there's so many. I'm all about the stories. So all around the world, there are so many. Always just trying to do my best to play my part. So I appreciate that, man. And I appreciate you taking the time because I know you're very busy. No vacations, as we said. So it means a lot. And yeah, look forward to seeing you down at the event, I'm sure. And, wish you all the best.
Absolutely.
With the rest of all the operations going on, man. So
absolutely.
Thanks so much. All right, Don.
Take care.